you to come in, we will bring you all of those. We now move on, and US Vice President J.D. Vance has arrived in New Delhi for his first official visit to India. After landing this morning with his wife Usha and their children and a US delegation, Vice President Vance was given a formal guard of honour at the airport. This evening, Vance will meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi for crucial talks. The two leaders are expected to discuss a range of issues, including strengthening US-India ties and finalising the new Trust Partnership, which is a strategic collaboration on critical technologies. Following their discussions, Prime Minister Modi will host Vance and his delegation for dinner at his residence, with senior Indian cabinet ministers also in attendance. As both sides look to deepen cooperation, all eyes will be on any announcements that come out of this high-stakes meeting. Well, joining us to discuss J.D. Vance's first day in India and what we can expect over the next three is Prabhu Dayal, a former diplomat, joining us from New Delhi. Prabhu, thank you very much for being here. We've spoken there about a conversation that is going to take place with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vice President J.D. Vance later this evening. What do you expect will be discussed?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your show. The discussions between the US Vice President, Mr. J.D. Vance, and Prime Minister Modi are expected to pave the way for deeper cooperation in various sectors such as defense, technology, and trade. The Indian Foreign Ministry has put out a statement in which it has said that the visit will further deepen the India-U.S. comprehensive global strategic partnership. Now, it cannot be overlooked that this visit comes amid President Donald Trump's aggressive trade moves, including a 26% reciprocal tariff on Indian goods as part of a broader tariff announcement affecting countries worldwide. Now, India has avoided a tit-for-tat approach as it could only lead to an escalation of disputes. Now, India does not want the tariff-related tensions to escalate, and that is why we started negotiations with the US to build a framework for a trade pact that would address issues relating to import duties and market access. Now, unlike many other countries, India did not impose counter tariffs on the US and focused instead on finalizing the bilateral trade agreement as quickly as possible. Significantly, India also tried to win over President Trump by slashing import duties on Harley-Davidson bikes and bourbon whiskey, because he had specifically mentioned these as items about which he felt concerned and on which India had imposed big tariffs. I may also mention that India also dropped a tax on digital services, which is known colloquially as the Google tax, and that was affecting US tech giants. So not only this, I think following talks between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi, India also agreed to buy more American goods, including crude oil, liquefied natural gas, and high-tech weapons platforms. And the idea was that this 47.7 billion trade surplus with the US should be reduced, because this is what the US was wanting. So I repeat what I said. Instead of engaging in a harmful tariff war, India's objective has been to achieve a trade agreement which will benefit both sides and help to promote bilateral trade.
Yes, Prabhu, staying away from trade now and looking at the geopolitics of the world and the uncertainty, I want to look at obviously conflicts that are ongoing and the US involvement in many of those. What could be the outcome and what could be the benefit for either nations in such uncertain geopolitical times?
These global conflicts have not benefited the world at large. In fact, India has always emphasized that the world is one family. and that if a conflict breaks out in any part of the world, it is bound to affect other parts of the world. And in fact, this is what is happening. The effects of the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Hamas war are percolating across the board, and they are affecting a whole host of other nations, particularly the least developed ones, which are termed as the global south. So India is very keen to see that this war, which is going on both between Russia and Ukraine, and the war which is taking place between Israel and Hamas, comes to an end as soon as possible. And this, in fact, is what President Trump has been emphasizing also. In fact, he was very hopeful of ending the war, but there are certain hurdles which have come up. But I understand that even now, in his latest statements, he has expressed a lot of hope that the Russia-Ukraine war will come to an end. And at the same time, he is also doing whatever is possible in terms of diplomatic efforts to bring about an end to the Israel-Hamas war. But I must add that ending these wars is proving much more difficult than it was initially thought, because there are various aspects which have to be factored in, and they are becoming impediments.
Yes, absolutely, Prabhu. We are unfortunately running shorter on time, but I do want to discuss Usha Vance, of course, who is with J.D. Vance on this visit as well. The first Asian American second lady. What's the significance of J.D. Vance and Usha Vance coming to India, given her position now as the second lady of the United States and her Indian heritage?
Well, I must say that the media has been full of praise for various things, like the fact that President Vance's family dressed up in Indian attire, and that really caught the eye of people. It was an endearing gesture, and they went to visit the Akshardham temple. They will be going to Jaipur and also to Agra. So all this has emphasized the India connection, which is so dear to the U.S. Vice President and his family. And there is no doubt about the fact that this closeness will also impact other aspects of the visit. And I'm sure that this will promote the ongoing closer relationship between India and the United States.
Prabhu Dayal, thank you ever so much for joining us, providing your insights as well. We will, of course, bring you all of those updates on J.